This is our greatest hits concert, so it won't actually take very long, maybe 3 to 10 minutes. And we'll do a song now which is called The Thresherman. And it's a song in its own right, but it's also a fragment of a long and quite tedious ballad called The Ballad of the Nobleman and the Thresherman. And this ballad dates back to the 17th century. And in the full ballad, what happens is a nobleman or a squire or a member of the Bullingdon Club or something has just finished tending to his pigs, and he goes for a little ride around his fiefdom, and he spies some sort of thresherman or peasant spoiling his view. And he says, "Oi, what do you think you're doing?" And the thresherman says, "Well, I'm working. I'm actually one of your employees, sir." And the squire's quite embarrassed by this faux pas, so he says, that's French, by the way. And so he's embarrassed by this, so he tries to backtrack a little bit and make small talk with the thresherman and says, "Of course, I thought I recognised you, and do tell me about yourself. How's your day going?" And the thresherman says, "Well, it's crap actually, because I'm one of your employees, and I work from dawn till dusk, 7 days a week. I'm incredibly poor. I work myself to the bone, but I just about managed to keep my wife and children alive. So therefore, I'm content with my lot in life." We have a sneaky suspicion that this song was not written by a 17th century agricultural worker. But the squire is very impressed by this story of the deserving poor, so he says to the thresherman, "Jolly well done. Here, have this enormous house and bags of money." And that's the end of the story. If only real life mirrored art, eh? We wouldn't have had to play at the Cleckheaton Folk Festival this year, would we? No offence meant, though.
There's a modern postscript to this ancient tale in which the lucky thresherman moves into this enormous mansion and then he gets taxed on all the bedrooms that he can't use. This has a chorus, please join in. Sometimes I do reap and sometimes I do mow. The other times to hedging and a ditching I do go. There's nothing goes amiss with me, the harrow or the plough. That's how I get my living, by the sweat of my brow. And when my day's work's over, I go home late at night. For in my wife and family I take a great delight. My children, they come round me with their silly little prattling toys, and that's all the pleasure that a poor man enjoys. Sometimes I do reap and sometimes I do mow. The other times to hedging and the ditching I do go. There's nothing goes amiss with me, the harrow or the plough. That's how I get my living, by the sweat of my brow. My wife, she is willing to join me in this yoke. We're just like two young turtle doves, there's never one provoked. Although the times are very bad and we are very poor, we still keep the wolves and the ravens from our door. Sometimes I do reap and sometimes I do mow. The other times to hedging and the ditching I do go. There's nothing goes amiss with me, the harrow or the plough. That's how I get my living, by the sweat of my brow. God bless all you farmers that take to us poor men. I wish of them with all my heart their souls in heaven may spend, and that those left behind us a better pattern take, that they may follow after as quick as they can make. Sometimes I do reap and sometimes I do mow. The other times to hedging and a ditching I do go. There's nothing goes amiss with me, the harrow or the plough. That's how I get my living, by the sweat of my brow. Sometimes I do reap and sometimes I do mow. The other times to hedging and the ditching I do go. There's nothing goes amiss with me, the harrow or the plough. That's how I get my living, by the sweat of my brow. That's how I